Right there. That's feeling a little better, I think. That is part of the fun and the adventure whenever you're Great Lakes fishing. Oh, dude, that is what we're after. Big, early fall Great Lakes walleyes. Welcome back to another video. Nice and early this morning. Got up about 4, on the road about 4:30. Got a little drive. The last couple of videos we've been doing have been on some smaller lakes, kind of spread across the Northwoods. I have a big water addiction where like every couple weeks, if I don't get on a really big body of water, I'm like missing it, So here we go. We're going to the biggest of bodies of water today, Lake Superior. Have not walleye fished Lake Superior all year, and that's kind of the goal today. And the goal today is a lot of times you get out on a Great Lakes system like Lake Superior. It's a lot of this kind of trolling type bites, covering a lot of water. We got a day to cast today. It's going to be nice and calm, or relatively calm, I think. It's always kind of unknown until you really get here. But it should be a decent day to try to cast some of these early fall Lake Superior walleyes. So I'm not going to talk too much. Got a little bit more of a drive to go. Should get there right as the sun's kind of creeping up. But stay tuned for hopefully what's going to be a beautiful day walleye fishing on Lake Superior. Oh, that was what I've been missing. A nice little big water run to start the day. Now, I'll tell you this right now. This is kind of the area I was thinking about fishing. Not a big fan of this watercolor. It's a lot muddier, I guess, than what I was hoping for. And we had one really big rain this week, and one thing you see with a lot of these places where it's like a lot of like clay red soil. It really muds up water really fast. So even with like not a ton of rain really, and it's not that fish won't be in it per se, but a lot of times when you're fishing patterns that require just covering a ton of water, it's the fish can't see your bait from as far away, right? So you really have to kind of like get on top of those fish. Now we'll talk a little bit as I set up here about just a little bit of Great Lakes location stuff. Obviously, fish go through, if you keep kind of these similar seasonal transitions in mind, right? Fish go through the same transition almost everywhere they're going to be on any lake. On a Great Lake system, you can imagine a lot of these fish start in up in these river systems in the early spring, right? And then they slowly work their way out on a much larger scale than they would on a normal lake into the lake. And then by the midsummer into September, a lot of times, they spread out a lot throughout the system. So these fish right now, being early September, are spread out way out here, kind of throughout the biggest portions. They're as much spread out as they're going to be for the whole year. So because of that, you might not see a ton of fish, where you did in early June right now. But Lake Superior, for example, you'll get to a point if you just keep driving out to the more of the biggest part of the lake where it just turns into trout water, right? The walleyes don't go out there as much. But where they do go is kind of to the edge of that, where you have some of these, a little bit of warm water, a big cold water blowout is like a bite killer in an area, and wind can switch all that stuff around. So like we got water temps right now that are 66 degrees. What I can guarantee, if we kept driving farther out, we'd just get to a point where the water temp it'd get super gin clear and the water would get very cold. And that's a lot of times a killer of a location. So you kind of flirt with that area, flirt with that line a little bit this time of year, but you want to be in a little bit warmer water. Walleyes are not lake trout. They're just a walleye. All right, now obviously the obvious objective would be to just troll and catch fish. You get on a system like this that's obviously enormous. I was hoping it was even going to be calmer today, but it might still calm down. This is not bad at all for Lake Superior. It's kind of rolling, kind of choppy 3-footers right now. But we're going to try to cast these fish. Now, like I said, I'm not thrilled on the color of the water, but having done this in past years, this is one area in which I have caught fish before, and we're just gonna fly through it. And like, if I'm not seeing fish like in 300, 400, 500 yards, it's gonna be on to the next spot. And if I am seeing fish and they're not interacting with my bait good, because this water is real dirty, I'm also gonna move spots and try to find fish in clear water. So that's kind of the plan for now. We're gonna get up here on the bow, chug straight into this wind, and hopefully put our bait in front of some fish. We're gonna be fishing with 2 styles of baits. The Acme Hyper Rattle for some of the deeper fish, which I don't like as much in dirty water, or a big snap jig plastic, Kalen's Jerk Minnow or Jerk Minnow Jr., or maybe a swim bait. We'll kind of see how it goes here. Right there. Not gonna be big, but we do have number 1 on here. Or yeah, bud. I mean, he's a 16-incher, you know, just getting rolling, just getting rolling. Come here, buddy. We'll definitely get bigger ones. At least I would sure hope so, you know. And that is number 1 right there. 16-inch size. Definitely seeing some of these around. Hate the watercolor. So I mean, we'll give this another 20 minutes, and like, if I don't either get a big fish or see big fish or see much more responsive fish, I will then change locations. Right there. Dude, it is getting nautical out. It's getting nautical out. Should be a slightly better one here. We're having fun at least, you know. That's kind of what matters. Oh, he's about the same size. It's just chin hook though. Should we just scoop this little guy up real quick? Well, so far we have not seen or caught our big fish. Like I said, not a fan of the watercolor in here, but we will probably move here shortly. But I mean, hey, for some poor water conditions and casting, we've got 2 in a relatively short amount of time. So I guess you can't complain too much, but as long as it's early in the day right now, I might just do some running to see if I can find some clean water. So I think that's going to kind of be the plan here. Right there. That's feeling a little better, I think. Come on, buddy. Come on. Man. Whoa. It's getting nautical out here. You know, oh yeah, much nicer fish here. Much nicer fish. Sometimes you need that Great Lakes adventure, you know. I spent about 10 days just kind of fishing some smaller lakes, and this is exactly what I want to be doing today. That is part of the fun and the adventure whenever you're Great Lakes fishing. It's just, you know, geez, man, angry. As obviously the seas can get angry as well. The weather forecast never really, you know, 100% right out here on the big water. You never really know what you're getting into when you leave the dock. But let's go ahead and grab this guy here. He's a real nice one. Oh, dude, that is what we're after. That is the one we're after right there. All right, are we rolling everything? I need a waypoint down. This is important to me. Mark a spot. Sitting in about 23 feet of water here. Oh yeah, just a heavy, girthy one, man. I like that a lot right there. Wow, that is what I'm talking about. There we go, guys. That is the reward. big early fall Great Lakes walleyes. Pretty cool, huh? I mean, it's just a rocking and rolling kind of day out here. You couldn't ask for more. I can't even see the screen. You couldn't ask for more of a Great Lakes experience than that right there. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Let's let that guy go and get another one like that, huh? Man, they carry some weight, huh? You don't hear a whole lot about Lake Superior walleyes, but it does have some good fishing when you get out of some of that deep, clear trout water. Let's let her go. There she goes, back down. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. That was as cool as it gets. Let's do it again, though. I'm not yet satisfied. That scratched the itch nicely, but I think we can do more damage. Just realized the audio wasn't rolling. That was rolling. All right. Chesty wasn't rolling. Well, you guys could probably hear that drag just not at all functioning properly. I was just about to get a drone shot. Oh man, another nice one right there. I was just about to try to get a drone shot and just saw this big fish kind of sink forward on the graph, lift off bottom right under me, and I just kind of drifted backwards for a second and let him get out in front of the boat, pitched at him, and he bit right away with my drag just ridiculously loose. Let's give you guys a look here. Well, definitely putting it together in the big blow here. How about that, huh? Butterballs, man. Super nice fish. There we go. You know, one of my favorite things about Lake Superior is that there is nobody. Could be the day, but it's also an enormous lake where you can just fish all by yourself if you want. Now, sometimes when you fish all by yourself, you don't catch any fish, and then slowly you realize why you're fishing in an area which nobody else is. But there we go, man. I think we're definitely in them. Now I think we just need that wind to switch a little bit, calm down for a second. I do feel like it's definitely dying a little bit. Sometimes I can't help myself but just pitch out at some of these smaller ones real quick. Because it's too much fun just catching fish, you know? And even these, I mean, they're nice fish, man. There's really no complaints for me on any of these. I'm not casting at every one of these groups of fish like this size, but man, is there ever a lot of them. Just snapping the glide bait right in their face. We're fishing in kind of a rocky area. Anywhere from, I'd say, 17 to, 25, 26 feet of water is kind of where I'm seeing the most fish. And that probably fluctuates a lot. One thing you realize on the Great Lakes systems, 99% of it's just on where the water sets up, especially because it just changes so much, especially in the shallows. Because, you think if you have, let's say a warm pocket of water here and just enormous amounts of cold water farther out, and that water, you get a big wind switch or something, and one area muddies up, one area cools down, one area gets warm water. And there's a lot more cold water in Lake Superior, real cold trout water, than there is walleye temperatured water, especially out in the abyss of the abyss. But, Great Lakes fishing, that is kind of what makes it fun, rewarding, all at the same time. All right, guys, real quick, really want to kind of showcase this high speed. You kind of fishing, basically we fished a little area. I'm just not seeing fish there anymore. So just kind of, all right, guys, real quick, just want to kind of showcase this, how you can run around fast and see fish. This high speed graphing. Maybe it's a tip that a lot of you guys know, but if you're not fishing this way and you fish a lot of big water, this tip is very valuable. So I kind of fished this area for a little while and I just wasn't really seeing much else in the way of fishing here. But we know they're probably close, right? We know we don't have to probably run 20 miles that way to find more, because there was just a bunch of fish here in the last couple hours. So basically what I'm going to do is and there's some settings that maybe we can go into at some point, but we're going to roll the camera on the GoPro and I'm basically just going to drive around 15-ish miles an hour, and you guys will kind of be able to see when we get an area that has a lot of life. They drove around for 4 minutes. You guys can see, yeah, look at this, right as we come off plane here. So a lot of times, stuff like this, now this doesn't look pretty, like at high speed, obviously, but that is an amount of fish off the bottom, right? And you can see there's some more in here real tight. Now, they're not super obvious, because obviously they're just not gonna mark super good at a high rate of speed. Another one kind of right back and over here. So now this makes it pretty easy to say, like, all right, you know, now we're in an area where we're at least graphing some stuff. And a lot of times these Great Lakes systems, they're huge systems. So there might be big areas where there's just not life, right? So this works really good just to kind of quickly eliminate some water. Now, I'm not gonna say like, oh man, this is the spot of all spots here, but a lot of times it'll just help you kind of quickly get in areas where there's at least life happening. There's bait around, there's probably some walleyes around, right? And even though they don't show up super good, at a high rate of speed, you can mark those fish. So this lets me know that, all right, so if I kind of circle back and kind of start driving through that area in which I just drove, you know, 15, 20 miles an hour through, there's gonna be some fish there. And I'll bet we'll even start marking them probably here on sonar in a little bit. Yeah, something that looks like this right here. Now, I probably didn't hit these fish super clean, but you can see there's a little bit of red down in there and that color there. Some bait balls around that look like that is probably what this is right here. And this is one tip you can use to kind of get around fish in these systems. Now, a lot of times if you come up on like a big school, like, here's some more right here. So these are like triple stacked fish. If I kind of flip over to, that's not the right screen. If I flip over to this screen, you're gonna kind of be able to see what a lot of these kind of look like here. Like that right there. Those are not gonna be big fish. Those are gonna be 15 to 20 inch fish, but they're not gonna be really big fish. But where a lot of times where there's smaller fish, there's likely gonna be some larger fish around. At least that's kind of what I've been seeing today. So that kind of gives me the confidence to, all right, you know, shut the motor down, jump back up on the bow, and then start kind of actively fishing for these fish. Basically, if you're just gonna cast on a massive system, you need all sorts of like little kind of tips to eliminate water quickly or to get you around fish quickly. Because trolling, you could start 15 miles that way and troll all the way back to here and probably catch fish when you get in them, right? But if you're just gonna cast and sit there with one rod all day long, you need all of these little things you can possibly, you know, use to your advantage to be more efficient, to not just get around fish, but also eliminate a lot of the water that obviously doesn't have fish. Yeah. Fish on, Mitchell. What do you think we got here? I'm gonna guess it's a decent sized walleye. Oh, you want to say anything to the folks at home? Oh, it's a 19 incher, Mitchell. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear this or not, but Mitch is saying, I can't wait to hear the feedback from the video, which we just did. Let me put you on speaker. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I can't wait to hear the feedback from the video we just did. I want to know from all you guys if you want me in the boat doing these kind of films going forward. We need to know.
Mitch filmed the last video, as many of you guys know. I posted it this morning, Mitchell. There's a nice 19-inch Lake Superior walleye right there. But they said production value, very good. They said white balance in the beginning was bad, which we knew. But other than that, I think people liked it. So you guys didn't watch the last video I did. Make sure you guys get on the old YouTube and watch that. Mitch filmed it. We're hoping to do more stuff like that where Mitch can kind of film a little story, eh, Mitchell?
That's right.
And I have an exciting announcement too once I get back home today, which on the Walleye Now side of things, right?
That's right, yeah. And there's some confusion too, so we got to clear it all up. And it's an exciting thing and, you know, much better app going forward.
Yes. So with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next fish catch. Right there, fish on. Well, guys, I will say this. It has slowed down drastically. Still seeing lots of that right there, but getting far less of them to bite. And that is 100% assumably the effect of just the, you know, all of a sudden our wind just completely killing, and all of a sudden the cloud cover leaving. So I'm assuming what that is. But I mean, you can't really complain too much. We've caught a lot of fish, and obviously a lot of fish this size, capped off by a couple of those bigger bites. But you know, obviously not all of the fish like this I've caught are probably going to make it into today's video, but that's all right. We've probably caught 20 some of these, and I think a couple, you know, 2-3 of those nicer fish, with one real nice, you know, 27-ish inch fish. There we go, man. I mean, perfect fish right there, all on glide baits. And before a wind picks up again and starts blowing like crazy, we might just take advantage of it and run back. And probably 9-10 miles is what I'm assuming it kind of is, back to the ramp. But hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this little portion of the video. Now we go home for some exciting announcement, new things, all that kind of stuff. We are back in the office, in the media studio, podcast studio, that you guys can see here. A lot of exciting announcements on the Walleye Now side of things. First of all, I want to thank you guys for supporting kind of everything in which I'm able to do. One of those ventures which we went down, which has been super fun, has been the Walleye Now app. Obviously, most of you guys are familiar with the walleye fishing, the Walleye Now app. Created it a couple years ago now. We didn't know anything about making apps when we started doing this stuff. We just thought, how can we put all this hardcore walleye and fishing information in one spot, kind of as a quick reference guide where people are, if they're going fishing on this lake at this time of year, they can log in, set their specifics for this style of body water at this time of year, and get a ton of exclusive, highly informational content, baits, presentations, situational tips, destination stuff, catered to that specific thing. A walleye fishing library, so to speak, heavy on information, on techniques, presentations, all of this stuff, right? Graph breakdowns. There's a lot of things that as we started getting into this more, we realized needed changing, needed tweaking. You guys gave us a lot of feedback on saying, hey, this would be good on here, this would be good on here, you guys should do this. So we came out with version 2 last week, and it's very exciting. We spent a ton of time working on this. Mitch has spent just a million man hours over the course of the last 12 months working on this stuff, and there's a lot of exciting new stuff on there. And one of those things is podcasts. We're doing a bunch of podcasts on the Walleye Now app now. You can find that right on the homepage. Another one of these things is people wanted to be notified when new content came out. So we came out with a notification system, which was super convenient. We laid the app out a lot better so it works on all phones a lot better. That's some kind of, you know, stuff on the backside that maybe you guys don't see as much as, and we learned in the process too, is that some features work better on Android than Apple. So we wanted to come out with all of this kind of very uniform, very functional, and then add some new things along the way as well. One of those new things we wanted to add was a login system. Get asked a lot of questions. Hey, we went from our family went from Apple phones to Android phones, or vice versa, whatever it is. How do we get to Walleye Now? You know, it says I have to purchase a whole new thing. Well, it essentially is 2 apps, one for Android, one for Apple. We're creating a login system. If you lose your phone, break your phone, switch brands of phones, you can just log back into your account. You don't have to purchase the app again. So that was one thing we really wanted to get figured out. Also, with the notification system, we wanted to notify people when new content came out, so you could sign up for these notifications when the new content comes out. But with the login system, we had some questions on, I forgot my account password and things like this. So kind of want to walk you guys through this account system, or how you can basically create the account on Walleye Now, even if you already have the app, and walk you through the specifics on that, because there has been some questions on this. So first of all, when you get on the Walleye Now app, you're obviously going to see it looks a lot different now. This is going to be where Let's Go Fishing was before. So to get to all the, 300 plus exclusive videos breaking down presentations, locations, it is going to be right under this Explore button right here. And that's going to let you sign up. I needed to use a phone that it wasn't on yet. So basically what you're going to see is log in or create an account. Now, when that screen pops up, it's going to look something like this here. Now, you might want to say, oh man, I forgot my login and my password information. We did not have a login and password information before. So this is, if you're logging on here again, you're going to want to do create an account, to create an account on Walleye Now. If you click this button right here, yes, I would like to see the latest news and offers from Walleye Now, that's going to be the notifications or other cool giveaways we might do or whatever it is. So by selecting that, you'll be on there. And then you simply enter, obviously, your first name, last name, email address. Generally, you want to do this, the email address associated with your Google Play or your App Store account, and then just create your password and then confirm your password, obviously. Now, let's say you do this and you forget your password, let's say. Once you've logged in, you'll be able to just reset it like a normal password and it'll send an email to you. So then, once you're signed up for that, you can obviously just log in like normal with your password and your email which you created, and then you're good to go. So it's a super simple, easy process. Now, if you have any problems logging in or anything like that, or have any questions, if you're having a tough time with something, Mitch will answer any questions you guys have on this stuff. So by simply clicking my account, you can send us an email right here. That's going to be, list whatever problem you might have, and if you guys have a feature you want to see, anything like that, you can just contact us right there, which is super easy. You can manage your subscription, all of this kind of stuff, super easy to do on this My Account tab. The other thing we have is bookmarks. So one thing we got asked a lot was people wanted a bookmark tab. So let's say mine's going to look a little bit different. Mine's going to look blank right now because I haven't bookmarked anything. But one thing you could do, let's say you go over here, you find a video in which you love. Maybe it's a springtime video on a natural lake, and maybe it's a video talking about sand flat depressions, and you're like, man, that'd be super useful for what I do, right? So you could click this bookmark tab right here. Now that has bookmarked that. If in case you get on the lake and you want to pull this back up, right, this information back up and say, man, that video is super useful for what I want to do. Now I simply go to my bookmarks, and I don't have to sort through all the videos again to get back to some of my favorite videos in which I want to watch. Super cool feature right there. Obviously, our podcast is going to be right on this homepage here on this scroller. We just uploaded one a couple days ago. You can click on that. You can watch that right here. This was an hour podcast talking a lot about, early fall transition stuff, where me and Mitch kind of talked for a long time. And the one thing we realized with the podcast is it's a great outlet to kind of talk about a lot of these long form questions in which we've had kind of over and over with seasonal movements and things of that nature. Still, just like before on the app, right on the home page, you'll get all these 3 videos right here. These are some of the most valuable videos you can watch. They're how to set up your graph, how to do depth highlighting at different times a year, how to interpret side imaging, down imaging, sonar, all that kind of stuff, and an in-depth video on exactly how I set up my graphs, my settings, all of that kind of stuff to get a super clear picture. So obviously we've done a ton of work on the app. Hopefully, huge thanks to a lot of you guys who have been subscribers to the Walleye Now for, since we released it. It is one of the most, there's no other place you could find anywhere with more high-level walleye fishing information than right here on the app. If you guys, this is your first time hearing about it, it's super cool. Once you select, this Explore tab on the homepage, it gets you 7 seasons to select from. Select the season we're in now. So if we click on early fall here, I realize we got a little bit of glare and this might not be super clear. Then you're got down to select one of 3 different styles of bodies of water, lakes, natural lakes, reservoir flowages, or rivers. Select whichever one you're going to, and you get all of these customized content based on those 2 criteria to kind of walk you through tons of different presentations, tons of locational breakdowns, situational tips, destinations, all this kind of stuff right here on the app, as many of you guys know. So first of all, we wanted to thank you guys for all the support on the Walleye Now side of things. We get a ton of great feedback on it. It is a very powerful walleye fishing information sharing tool, that is for sure. And we're constantly trying to make it better to suit your guys' needs. So feel free to give us as much feedback as you have. If you have any problems logging into this thing, make sure to reach out to us on there. Mitch is around 24/7 to pretty much answer any questions on the back side of the app. So we appreciate it very much from you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Wanted to include this little portion in here because we have had some questions on the whole logging in deal. But like I said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following the Walleye Now side of things. Thank you guys for letting me do what I do every day. And we'll see you guys on the next video.